platforms. Yes, Business Daddy. So stick around, check us out. Comments are live, and yeah, it's going to be a good time. Where is that dang intro music? There it is.
Sorry, I can't. It sounds like Dookie.
Speak your mind. Join us as we go deep and see what we find. Don't just stay in the shadows, follow us into the atmosphere. This discussion's going to a new level, cause you know we're about to go deep in here. Deep
Yes, it is time for Deep Space. Today we are joined by the cast and crew, and you guys know what I gotta do. It's time to plug those corporate overlords. So first and foremost, check us out. Eargasm Comedy on Patreon, Eargasm Comedy Contest that we're gonna end here soon. Probably this weekend, because I'm getting paid, and I guess it's time to give away some money. And also, don't forget to check out Never Settle Apparel, Brick and Equity for all of your housing and self-directed IRA needs, and our glorious food overlord, Ohio City Barbecue. That's right, Ohio City Barbecue, 15% off. Just mention my company name. Tell them I sent you, and they will put some ribs in your belly. Anyways, today, dudes, I don't know if you know, but the Soviet and expat and ex-Soviet countries are not loving the newest hit from Disney. The Eternals is apparently bad news. They just don't want it on their airwaves. They don't want it on their television. They want it pulled from their movie theaters. You know, it's just like, if they look at it, the capitalism just makes them angry. It's just too much. No. I'm sorry. Yes, only Dino laughed. Yes, thank you, glorious one. How are you, my friend?
Oh, with this face, I'm always good. What's up? What? You want to talk?
That face is always good. That was it.
I was just clearly handing you the ball there, and you just answered. Yes, this face, I'm good. Yes, thank you. Back to you, Chuck.
It's style, and it communicates a lot, I feel. People see this face, they know to go the other way. Very useful.
Listen, I feel like if we really wanted to get like a movie banned in all countries, like just me and your face, right? And like doing like bad Russian accents, like me and you, bad Russian accents. So not yes. This here is how you go from PG to X-rated in Russia.
Let's be honest, your English accent is bad enough. I don't think you need to go Russian.
That's so. Thank you so much. All right, so guys, seriously, like, what do you guys think about this ban in all the countries whose flags are on the background there?
All right, so I guess since nobody wants to start this off.
Thank you, Marco. Thank you,
wow.
Marco, so much.
I'm not sure about this whole thing. I think this has a outlying agenda, especially with like the bigger countries involved in this. But I mean, there's several different reasons given originally. The Sand people don't like the same-sex stuff, but they also now they're saying that it has a lot to do with the different depictions of the gods and what they're doing and modernized, you know, more along the lines. Remember that whole that cartoon, that Hypno cartoon that they had a fit about. The Russians, we all know that the Russians aren't a big fan of the LGHDMI, whatever the fuck community. And the Asians, they got some religious shit going on over there. The Chinese, the last I heard, I don't know what religion they are, but whatever it is, they don't like every other religion, and they were putting Christians into like internment camps and shit. That's real. Like, we did articles and shit on that.
5
Like,
minutes. We lasted 5 minutes.
Yeah.
5 minutes for what? None of you guys want to start this shit.
No. Listen, we love you, and we'll get to some of your points, but I just like, we're doing a show about censorship, and I love how you're just okay with just like losing like 20 or 30 countries worth of followers on any. Just immediately, fuck the sand people.
And
Yeah,
they love me in the Sandlot, dude. They
So
love me in the litter box.
The entire Middle East is just never going to be our demographic now because you just got to yell "fuck the sand people" on every podcast.
I didn't
that
say
you're
I
on.
don't
fuck
think you
the
said
sand
that. I think
people.
you said
Not
that,
at
Ryan,
all.
so-
Not at
There's
all
blame
did I
for
say fuck the
everyone.
sand people.
So, no Egyptians, no Saudi Arabia. You want us to lose potential sponsors in Saudi Arabia? Come on, man. I want some of that Bush oil money, okay? That's all I'm saying, all right? Jesus.
Oh, jeez.
It really
It's just not-
sounded like Ryan needs oil for his bush, didn't it?
Yeah, it
That's how
did.
it sounded,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Okay, it wasn't just me.
So, but Buddhist would be the answer to your ignorant question.
I didn't know there was a question there. All I said is I didn't know what they believed in. And that's weird, because aren't the Buddhists like supposed to be like the peaceful people? Like the, with the little bowl and the thing that they whisk around, make the little noises and shit?
I
He's a
want to
communist
do,
country, it's against religion.
I really just want, Lexi, you're next, I promise. I really just want to do like a whole, like, highlight segment where it's just like Marco being overtly racist for 5 minutes.
That is not racist. That is the fucking truth.
Yeah, go ahead, Alexa.
Well, first of all, for like people watching in China that Marco may have offended, 对不起，我觉得 Marco 太不好了，因为我喜欢中文，我觉得中文太好的天by
No, do it again because I promise you we're subtitling it later. We're subtitling it later. Go ahead.
Communist countries are atheists, but well, I think this is kind of more exemplifying because if you look at media, I mean, think what you want about it does create our culture, and the fact that we're letting a lot of other countries influence our culture, our films, with their censorship because they know our weakness. They know the companies here mainly care about their profit margins and getting into those markets. So I just think it's a ridiculous amount of soft power countries like China have over us, and it's probably going to come back to bite us in the butt because this is just one tiny step towards China controlling things in the United States more so than they already do.
Yeah, I like that you're still calling it soft power because they are 100% our business daddy. What do you got over there in Upside Down Studios?
Sure.
Couple of things. One, I'm actually trying to find the complete list of countries that have actually banned the movie.
Yes.
Because I am having trouble with that. The Gulf countries, that's very understandable. Traditional, I mean, no. I'm not understandable in the way of I approve of it. It's understandable that they've done it because traditionally they've always done that. Either the studios, this isn't something new that they just started or that came out with this movie. You either release an edited version or it doesn't come into this country. I don't remember a time in my lifetime where they weren't like that.
No.
Okay, it's funny that you would say that because think about during the Cold War, how many movies you couldn't get in other countries specifically because of it was viewed as propaganda. And even during World War II, the German cinema was a huge thing with regards to pushing out its influence in regards to the moral stand or high
the United
ground
States
that
did
people
the
assume
same
they were
thing.
on. Yeah. So how, and that's the real question is them taking what they perceive as a moral stand because a few countries have decided to ban it. They have asked for censorship of all intimacy in the movie, which has been censored and released. Then there are other countries that said, no, it's just any part with regards to the couple that is a homosexual couple in the movie. That has to be removed. And they said, no, we're not willing to do that. And those are the places banned. I had the same problem, Jared, with regards to finding a complete list. There was a few articles that mentioned a few, but not everything.
and exhaustive. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so
What I want to know is these companies they're just like, no homosexual scenes. Would it have been okay if it was a transgender woman? Like if
That's doubling down. I don't think.
could it have got a pass if there had been titties? That's all I'm saying. Let's really dive into this. Like, is there a titty pass? Go ahead, Alexa.
If you're in Iran, there's a pass for that because in Iran it's okay to be a transsexual. It's not okay to be gay.
See, I'm not being ignorant. Like, it's a real thing. It might have been okay. Go ahead, Marco.
all right, so the countries that banned it
Let
Are-
Alexa take this one.
are Saudi Arabia, Qatar, Kuwait, and then there's China and Russia that banned it. Now, it is still allowed to be played in the United Arab Emirates, Jordan, Lebanon, and Egypt, according to the deadline. Now, what I think
Thought I read Egypt banned it.
what I think is real odd though, instead of like they all pre saw this movie. All these countries had the movies, they were ready. They had their dates that they were going to release this. The day of release, they banned it. They didn't say anything a few days ahead of time. They didn't give any kind of warning. The day of the release, they banned it, like off
that's
rip.
just
So they didn't even let it
that's-
play. So I mean, I think
Do you
there's
think it was
an
a-
underlying something or other. I think there's somebody like there's a head of this group of fucking countries. If somebody said, "Well, fuck it, we'll get together and see if we can't put the screws to fucking Disney."
See, I think you're onto something because the little bit I know, I mean, that's a big business like F you because if they ban it day of release, all their theaters probably had already bought it to play it. Like they
And
all
promoted it
already
and
had
spent
it
money
and
for that.
promoted it.
And
Right,
Disney
right.
would have spent money on that too, on the promotion
Yes.
of it in the country.
No.
So hold on, then. Sorry to interrupt. Does that because we all know that a movie has to be reviewed by the country it's going to be played in. Like
Exactly,
that is
exactly. That's why I find
100%
some
for
odd.
censorship for everything. Like, so could it have been just an FU to Disney with regards just to the expenditure of funds, or also is it the I don't know what you would call it the extreme people for censorship? Are they the ones that complained and everyone said, "Oh, okay, I guess we can't play it"? That's a fair question because
I
realistically,
find
if something was released here, people can freak out and protest and everything like that, and it will get taken down.
I find it more that it's the country. If you haven't noticed, it's the countries that we have the most problems with. China, Russia, Kuwait, we had issues with. Qatar, Saudi Arabia. Those are all like, I wouldn't say enemies, but they're not big fans of America. So this might not be so much a fuck you to Disney. It might be a fuck you to America.
Fair.
I don't see how that's really extremely effective when they have better ways of doing it. But, how much of it, too, was the countries that, at least the countries that typically would ban that movie or require a censored version, how much of that was in the, well, you kind of know our requirements from working with us in the past.
That's another
We're
thing.
waiting for you to give us the appropriate version, and then they don't supply it. Disney gives them the fuck you and tries to run their agenda.
Well, I mean, this
And
is
then the country's
Disney. I
like,
mean,
no,
how-
wait a second.
how,
You know how we do
explicit
business.
can
We've
they
been
get?
doing business for how long? Because they've since fucking Mickey Mouse, they've been releasing shit over there. So
Disney's good for subliminal stuff, but for the straight up,
True.
like right out in bold front. I mean,
you haven't
even with
watched anything on the
WandaVision.
Disney Channel
Yeah,
in the last
I got the
15
Disney Channel,
years, but
dude.
you haven't watched it because it's blatant.
Yeah, but I mean, as far as like the Marvel movies or anything like that, even in the ones that were just a series, the most of any kind of intimacy that I saw, the closest thing I saw was in WandaVision, and they were in the same bedroom together. There's a
Separate
lot of
beds.
implied stuff, but there isn't a lot of, you know what I'm saying? So
Well,
this is
they
all
were
this
separate
is
beds,
a
right?
Disney movie,
Like-
so they weren't showing guys butt fucking. They weren't showing anything like that, all crazy stuff. So how bad could this movie actually have been? And just a little side note. In America, the movie flopped. It's got like the worst Rotten Tomatoes fucking ratings of so I mean, this wasn't the greatest movie in the world to fucking begin with. What could have been in there that was so damn... Like, I can't wait to see the movie just for this. I want to know what was so bad that, you know, we can mutilate our kids' fucking genitals, but we can't have this movie on our fucking screens.
Then is it possible that this is all just a marketing ploy?
It
I was
could be.
actually
It could be.
that. Like, think about how much more you want to go see it. Like, I was on my list to go see, but I wasn't going over.
Not urgently.
And now, and like,
I'll wait till I can watch it
like,
on Disney
I'm gonna go
Plus.
see it on Friday. Yeah, like I'm gonna go check it out now.
Nope.
So like, it could all just be a marketing ploy. It could.
I'll get it bootleg online.
I
You
literally
mean to
asked.
tell me that you don't think that Disney has agents in Russia and China that could have, you know?
Well, we all know they
told
got them in
this-
Russia because there's a Disneyland in China. Or not Russia, China, because there's a Disneyland in China. I mean,
In
there
Hong
is...
Kong.
Right.
No, they're in Japan. Sorry. Japan.
Is it, I thought it was China and Hong Kong. I thought you were right.
I think they
Maybe?
opened it, but it went under. I think.
me
think
check.
that's what yeah, double check, but I think it opened and went under. But so banning movies in general, I mean, it's kind of doesn't happen a lot, and it's kind of weird when it does because I think a lot of times when it does, it could just be a ploy.
It,
Oh,
it
it
happens
happens.
overseas
Like, I think-
way more than
Yeah,
you
it
think.
happens a
It
lot.
just goes under the radar. You know, and honestly, I don't see what the big uproar over here is about this because one, again, this has happened since Hollywood's been a thing, and we've been putting material into that part of the country or into that part of the world rather, and I just like.
It's not new.
No,
it-
you're right.
Them banning
but
it
because
there isn't affecting the full unedited version being released here.
It's
Right.
just
Well, see,
So I
affecting
don't get the
dollars.
whole like we can't. Not only can we not police the rest of the world, but we are not the rest of the world's moral fucking compass.
Right.
Also true.
So
And that's-
we kind of got to let. Like
Yeah.
I don't understand what with everything else that is actually going on here in this country, why there is such an uproar about what the fuck is going on with a movie in fucking Qatar.
Because
Could
we
it be
can't
subterfuge?
look
Then,
at fucking
realistically,
Joe Biden.
because you're absolutely right. Sorry, what and we know that movies that have been released from other countries that have come here have been censored. We know that as a fact. So we've done the exact same thing. So how? There's a good chance that this is all subterfuge and advertising as a campaign just to draw interest towards the movie.
I mean, ultimately, it's not a big deal. I mean, because again, like you guys said, this shit has been going on forever. When it boils down to it, I guess to break even, the Eternals have to the movie around the world has to make $400 million, and it has only made like $4 million. So I guess that is probably the reason why this is in a big uproar, because they're trying to gain whatever the fuck from it. But I mean, ultimately, as fucked up as it is, you guys are right. You know, we are not the police of the world anymore, but we are sure as fuck not the world's moral compass. You know, again, there's shit over in the litter box that they do that is just outlandish, but you know, that is the way they live. We can't judge them for that. You know, I'm sure they look at us and they're like, how the fuck are you guys letting your kids do that shit? Or, you know, it's that. So, I mean...
I feel like you just don't know or don't care how offensive that word is, but like literally every time you say it, I just watch our few viewers drop, and it makes me want to come there and just smack you. Could you please just stop?
For which one?
I get that you're an army vet, and I get that that's how y'all talk. But stop.
No.
I'm
I
asking you
came up with all that
nicely.
on my own. And that's how I found out I had
Go
fans
ahead,
in the
Alexa.
litter box.
No, Alexa's reclaiming her time.
Go ahead,
And
Alexa.
I've asked you 3 times now to stop. So the next time you do it, I'm going to mute you. Do not refer to it as that anymore, please. Alexa, go, honey.
Well, I don't have a problem with it for like the woke anger about it. I kind of have a problem with it about the bigger issue of them feeling the need to like edit things out. Like this is afterwards. Like they're giving us a different version than they're giving these countries. But oftentimes in the writing process of these movies, they always have in mind, can this pass the Chinese censors? Can this pass the Arabian censors? And even with like statements of people talking, like before the show, I brought up the John Cena thing, or the fact that no NBA owner will bring up the Chinese Uyghur Muslim camps. So is it, I understand we're not the world's police. I don't think America should be the world's police. But the fact that these countries have such large market power over corporations here that they can compel speech of American citizens, that's probably what I have more of an issue of, which is kind of an extension of this issue.
And,
I'm kind of with
I
you.
can see that. I can see that concern, but what brings up is an even bigger concern that I have is that movies and advertising and that stuff that you're talking about, that we have let that become what is the major influence in how we are shaping our lives and molding our morals and our standards, that we have to be concerned with that. That's supposed to be an entertainment industry.
Well, that goes
Okay.
along the lines where entertainment is starting to become the new teacher. Entertainment and the celebrities are, the new, those are the doctors, those are the teachers, those are the lawyers. Listen to LeBron and listen to Alec Baldwin and listen to all these, people who have no friggin' clue. I think that's, where the whole, maybe people are being concerned in the entertainment industry, so that would be like for a further generation. But again, I mean...
I want to just tag in.
Go ahead.
I want to tag in because you guys are talking about the industry of it, and we're going to talk about the rating stuff because again, this is not new. Like things get banned, things have different ratings for reasons, but I mean, this is Disney. This is a big buck. Like they knew what they were doing,
right?
Like Alexa's bringing up, like they have panels beforehand. They know what's going to pass censors in China. They know what's not going to... We've been doing this for a long time.
Not only that, but Disney owns
either
a side
somebody
company
dropped
for
the
their
ball-
R-rated stuff.
Either somebody dropped the ball or this was intentional. Like that's all it is. Like either somebody's getting fired for this shit, or it was completely intentional and they knew that it wasn't going to get played in these countries and they knew it was going to cause this uproar, which would then make more people go see it. I think that's where I'm at. But to the rating scale, I mean, I want to move into like, do you guys think it's even a big deal that other countries like? I mean, again, this has been known. Like we have R ratings, PG ratings, X ratings. Like there's things that we don't allow to be played. So why is it such a big deal when another country doesn't allow something we make to be played?
That was exactly what I said.
Right.
I don't have an issue with it. That's Qatar. They got to handle their business. That's Japan. They got to handle their business.
Even if we don't like it, so what? We don't like it. We don't live there. That's not our fucking world to be worried about.
Well, but also too, like sorry to cut you off, Alexa. If you think about it, look, the same commercial is going to have different verbiage in California, New York, and Florida, and Texas, right? Those are four very distinct ways of talking and words that are commonly used that you can tell right away. You're not going to be sharing the same thing. And it happens on a local basis as well, not just with ratings, just with information. It's catered. It's catered to the environment that it's going to be played out. And to Alexa's point, then, like, realistically, how much of a movie is known to be, we'll have to remove this for this place, so how can we write it so that we can take out as little as possible to make it sellable in these other markets, right?
Yeah, and then we hear about that shit all the time in like sitcoms and stuff. How many of these sitcoms or pilots have went under because somebody has a good idea, but then this company says, "Oh, could we change this, or could we make this that, or we don't want to offend this person, or we can't say anything about any kind of silica-based people, anything like that."
What the?
Just because he thought
I
he thought it was cute to slip it in
I thought
again,
it was.
and we
I thought it
told
was
him like 4 times. Go,
He
Alexa,
didn't
I'm gonna bring
violate
this
your
back
rule.
back.
He can't hear you.
I know. I'm still gonna yell at him.
Censorship and the whole rating system.
Did that on
First, I
purpose
think
to avoid about
that
what
you
we're
can make
talking
an
about.
argument that
That's
it's kind of
censored.
dying because we have to focus so much on censoring for overseas. markets. Because if you look at like a lot of blockbusters we make in this country now, our export used to be media, film, everything like that. That was our art. We were known for it. Now it's just big explosions and things we know for a fact will pass censors in other countries to get into those markets. And some people could say that's cheapening art in general. But I think, censorship, they can do what they want, but it's not point it's killing American media.
I don't know if it's not new at all. It's been around since the days of print and like the printing press. Like there's always been censors, not just in America, but there's a standard, it's a societal standard. It's that thing that we don't like talking about as Americans anymore. But there's this things, you don't want to go out to a movie theater and see people having full on, happy to do that. Like it's not like that's not going to ever happen.
Unless they have theaters for that.
You can't say the F word on the radio, and you probably can't say that other word you keep trying to say on the radio. But anyways, Michael Bryan says, "I'm so glad Marco wasn't deployed with me because that motherfucker would have gotten a shot for no reason." Agreed. Agreed. Look at all these.
It would have been a fun story. I think it would have been a fun story.
There's only one lady who tried to sue ABC for a Charlie Brown Christmas because the one black character sat across the table from the white characters at dinner. There's always going to be stupid people. Yeah, and there's always going to be stupid reasons to censor things. Like it's not new. And then Serge, God, I love you, man. No, we will not play a clip of it here. No.
Ryan has it on VHS. Don't worry, sir.
You know what?
If you want
to see us reacting to a clip of the new XXX-Men, you can go ahead and head over to the Patreon. And if you donate at that mid-level, yeah, fine. Me, Dino, and Alexa will sit down and react.
Wait a minute. I want part of that, too. I probably watch more porn than all three of you guys.
Time out, and you know it. You know it. You did it on purpose.
No. See, I exploited a loophole, and I did it on purpose to prove a point. Because that is how things get changed around these days, and that's how we get past certain shit here in the media, is by switching up wording.
I'll be honest, Marco, when you said silica-based, I was like robots? And then I was like, oh, he's pulling a fast one. Nice. Nice.
Yeah. There's a lot of intelligence behind the ignorance. Trust me.
Serge, just the Padawan level, and we'll do that for you. Just the Padawan level, and we will do that for you.
Serge has conditions. He has conditions.
Oh, he does?
Yeah.
Marco star. Okay, if you want Marco to star in it, it's gonna be the $10 a month, bro. Come on. You think he comes cheap? You think that like?
I come cheap. Trust me.
No, that's quick, not cheap.
Yeah.
No. There's two differences. Because I'll be there forever. It'll just be cheap as hell.
Hold on. Wonder Twin powers activate, baby.
There you go. Bam.
Make sure you got a wiener dog fluffer on set.
You leave Skeek out of this.
Not okay. Sir, $10 a month, head on over to Patreon. Just do it.
Yeah. We'll send you all sorts of Marco picks.
Yeah, hey, we got to get to our sponsors, but first, before we do that, Happy Veterans Day to everyone but Marco. Everyone but Marco. Happy Veterans Day.
Happy Veterans Day, Marco.
No, I'm not convinced that he just wasn't selling weed in the desert. Like, I'm not.
See, that's how much you know. If it was in the desert, it'd be opium. It's opium out there and heroin.
He 100% was just a requisition officer for his unit. That's all he was a requisition.
And
it's called supporting your troops, Ryan. Okay?
Happy birthday to the Devil Dogs. It's the Marine Corps birthday.
Hoo-ha!
What was
I
that?
think I've serviced the most troops out of anyone on this call.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Alexa has serviced more troops than any of us.
Do you want to put your OnlyFans up for the troops real quick, or like
I
what do you
actually.
want to?
It's at Jasmine Steele 7, just like my Twitter. Follow it. Your experimental phase, maybe like PTSD made you want to try a dick or something.
Oh my god.
That's some serious PTSD.
Silicon base was bad, but that is okay.
对不起，我喜欢中文，因为我觉得中文太好了高。
All right, you know what? What I want you to do is I want you to plug brick and equity in Chinese. Just do it.
No, don't do it. This is America. Do that shit in American. Or Mexican at least.
因为我觉得 brick and equity 他跟你说你喜欢 I ran out of things to say. I don't know the terms behind it. So, oh my goodness. So on Brick and Equity, they will teach you how to invest, build that generational wealth, mama. Build it up. Call 216-657-SELL. Also, don't forget to go right on down to Ohio City Barbecue. That's right, Ohio City Barbecue. I know I get my rack ribs there every night. And I mentioned that I saw them on Eargasm, so I got 15% off. Mama,
all right.
15% off.
This one you're really gonna do. You're gonna do this in Mandarin as well because I want this one to go out to all the University Circle folks. So just hit it again. Just do it with the love.
我很饿，因为我喜欢 Ohio City Barbecue。我们可以说稍微上 Eargasm，还得多说点。
But silica-based people was bad. That was worse than all of it.
Ladies and gentlemen, listen, if you like this kind of shit, please help us keep this going. We need to get our bilingual friends some money. So 3 easy steps to help us grow. Head on over to the Eargasm Comedy page. There's 3 buttons right at the top, 3 little dots. Click that. It says invite your friends. Invite your friends. Send me a screenshot, and we will send one lucky winner $50. And yeah, this is that. And you guys should really do this. Like, there's all kinds of bonus content we're just waiting to put out for you.
I did it.
Reacting to you. What? I have to go check it again. Marco's paying us, apparently? Oh, my God.
No,
Who
I
knew?
didn't do the fucking Patreon, dickhead. I did the fucking contest.
Oh, you did. Oh, okay.
If I do middle management,
No, he's trying to get you to pay him.
If you do middle management, okay.
Can I get all of y'all to do a calendar
I missed.
in Speedos?
Yes. 100% yes.
I missed.
No,
100%.
slingshot.
No.
I'll do a slingshot.
Listen, we will do a calendar. Here's what we're going to do. This will be our first Patreon thing. We'll do a calendar, and every month we'll release another picture in the calendar. And at the end of the year, we'll make the calendar, and you'll all get one.
Well, who wants a
that's what we'll
calendar
do.
if everybody saw the pictures already,
Why are we all
dick?
wearing headphones?
Why would you not want... Listen, okay, first of all, you don't understand how my auntie works, okay? My auntie makes the best Costco calendars you've ever seen.
Fuck your aunt.
Second of all...
You're gonna scar your auntie.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna have your aunt calling me wanting some dick, dude.
Marco.
He's not wrong.
I'm buying one just because I want to see Dino's tits.
I don't have any tits. Look. No, hold on. Let me do this way.
I'm going by your promo.
Hey, that wasn't my body. You think I take my shirt off for free? No,
So
sir.
anyways,
I am an escort.
When you sign up for middle management, just go ahead and shoot us a message that lets us know who you want to be the first month and what you want them to do. And yeah, that's 100% the thing that we will do for you. Oh man,
Huh.
100%
Are we done doing all that?
You know, 100%. They're gonna want me to reenact that picture. Dino, do we have that picture? Is 100%, 100%. That's what they want.
Which one? Him with his belly all out, sitting by the side of the water.
Dino knows which one. The new one, by the way, with the other faces. And yeah, hey, now that we're back into it, what crimes are you guys committing in the bathroom? No, I'm just kidding. No intimacy
Just
period.
depends on where we're at, and whose bathroom it is.
Yeah, I think
How
there's.
Go ahead, Alexa.
I think because.
There it is. He didn't even see
I
it.
literally just took a drink.
Was this
Thank
the
you.
one that you were looking
Yeah, look at Duffy.
Hey, look,
Got
we got a
three
big
others?
old HD TV in the studio now, and I just noticed that that's Rob Weber's face on your cock.
for? No.
That's
That's
not
Matt
Rob?
Duffy.
That's Matt Duffy, bro.
That looks like Rob.
That's
Whoever,
white people
you
don't
got a
like the
guy
same,
on your
Marco.
cock. That I'd never seen until we were in HD.
Those are udders. Okay, those are udders.
Those maple people always look the same.
Wow. Wow.
So now I feel like
how
you're
do you guys
discriminating
feel
against
about-
the sand people because she's allowed to say maple people, but I can't say sand people. What's the
I got
difference?
diabetes.
One's
I
white,
was
you know.
probably maple syrup in my
White
blood.
people can get, you know, you can
Stuff.
talk about the white folks, but anybody with a tan and we get banned.
That's right.
Jared,
I'm glad you get it.
Jared, Joyce, Greg,
Yeah.
the rest of Upside Down Studios, I'm sorry. If he does it again, I don't know if I'm letting you guys come back. It's not cute. I don't know what to tell him. I think he's had
But
plenty
maple
of
people
warnings.
is cute. Explain to me. This is the whole part of our conversation, the whole censorship thing. Why is one thing okay and the other thing's not, but they're all the same shit?
Because we didn't lose all of the viewers when she said maple people, but
That's
every
because she
time
has
you say the
boobs.
other one,
we got more
they
maple
lose.
people
That's
watching
'cause she
than
has boobs.
the
No,
other.
Bullshit. I call bullshit. It's because she has tits.
Yes, you know what?
Ah,
Yeah, and
You
just
know,
because you're
it's
the
a
only one who
reasonable
paid to
explanation.
see
She can say
them,
whatever
Ryan.
she wants and then smile, and it's like, oh yeah. I'm serious. That's how it goes.
Well, there is a double standard, though.
Yes, there is.
You know, something that is against. And I get the reasoning behind it, but also going back to the movie, I wonder if there was something political about the movie that the countries didn't like. Because if you watch the interviews and stuff, because I had to sit through one on YouTube, like in an ad, and it seemed like that movie, Eternals, was really pushing a woke agenda. So I wonder if there were things politically in that movie that these countries didn't like as well. But also,
You know, we really should have watched the movie before we did this. I'm just like, at this point, like,
I don't
Raise
watch
your
so
hand
many
if you
said if it was
videos on
good,
it, and
yeah,
like,
we're gonna have to do a follow up on this because has anybody seen the movie? Has anybody in here?
I feel like I need to like share that I didn't even know this movie existed till I heard we were going to talk about it, and I was like, okay, Google, what the fuck are we talking about? I've never heard of this movie in my life.
I think that's what makes it better, you know, that none of us saw it because we could actually, you know, deal with the issues that is going on with the movie aside from, you know, having a bias towards the movie.
Well, I think we'll have to do a follow up afterwards
agree.
for sure. But I think the funniest thing that's happening right now is our comment section has 100% decided that the January is going to be me recreating that walrus picture. I hate you, Dino. That's a real thing, and like,
You love it.
yeah.
Shut up.
Robert
Stop
Cox,
it.
thank you.
I can make it worse.
And to go back to what we were talking
Mr.
about with
Cox, thank you for defending my honor. Thank you for defending my honor, sir.
And
gonna
to
put
go
Ryan's
back
hands
to
on
the
it, too.
movie and what Alexa is saying about the whole thing, and this is for Ryan, just to let you know that if we have a crowd over in Saudi Arabia or any of that land over there, Alexa would not be allowed to be on that goddamn show or even be played or even be heard.
Oh.
Iran, I would.
Oh, we would let you. Oh, would you
No,
say
no, no.
Iran? You would.
Iran.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, they're okay
And,
with
and,
it.
and the United Arab Emirates and Jordan and Lebanon and Egypt, you would. But everywhere else that I was speaking about, she would not. For
Man,
what
that's
reason?
That's a
is
lot of
same
places that
reason
would allow
for,
her to
you
be
know,
on the podcast that you just completely shot your own self in the foot. And you know what? To that, I would say, listen, I don't think they would let her be on the air in their own country, but I don't think that they're not going to watch a sexy lady. Okay, they don't want her to dress like that, but I don't
Of
think that
course.
means that they're not
If I
looking.
had a
Well,
burden,
no, the
because
problem
I-
is when she drops her
I'm
draws.
pretty sure they're still selling magazines in those countries. I'm
Of
pretty
course
sure you
they're
can
going
still. You can still see bikini models and stuff. They just
Oh,
don't
no,
want their women to dress like that. Go
no.
ahead.
All the bikini models are dressed like
Put me in,
ninjas.
coach. Put me in.
Yeah, go ahead.
Dang. So, yeah, they're gonna still watch her. Do you have Facebook? Okay, you're a guy. But, do you know how many Facebook requests you get for like, oh, me love you so much, you're so pretty. Like, okay, yeah, they're gonna still watch her, of course. But they're
I
not
get
gonna
those
let their
lots.
I want
government
you to understand
know.
that my mother's best friend actually fell for that honeypot trap. Oh, you're so beautiful. Come back to my country with me.
Oh, their
And
grammar's
then
so
Well,
bad.
well,
Yeah.
you fell for Alexis because you're the only one out of all of us that is on her OnlyFans.
Wow.
At least I asked her to
was
see her
that?
tits to compare them to my charger.
$5.
You just went and paid for them.
$5, I'll smack him right now. Right now, I'll smack him. $5.
Just saying.
I got
what's your
Venmo,
Cash
I
App?
got Cash Pal, I'll be Cash App, PayPal. I got you. Just
Yeah, you know what? Yeah, what's your Cash App?
20?
Lexi, give me my phone.
Whenever a Middle Eastern guy hits me up on Facebook, I'm always like, just so you know, it is haram to lie with another man. And then they back off. Because it is. It's forbidden. It's against Allah. And I think we should all live by that.
Okay, I'm
We're a
gonna
little
start
bit off.
using
So
that.
back towards
That's my
back
thing
towards
now.
no
I'm
intimacy
doing that
period,
now.
right? Do you think that like, I mean, should we just go back to like 1920s rules or whenever the heck it was, where they just like nothing, you may do nothing on screen. You pushed it too far. I don't want to see that shit. You may do nothing on screen. No
Why? Because
kissing,
like 7 countries
There's
don't.
just a time and a place for everything, man. And if you look at like the G-rated cartoons nowadays, compare them to the G-rated cartoons of the 60s, 70s,
that's
and
way
80s.
different.
I mean, back in the day, a G-rated cartoon could have tits in it. As long as it didn't swear, as long as it didn't, it didn't have too much graphic, like gore in it, you could have sex and stuff like that in there. Like I've seen them. There, like there was Fritz the Cat. There was also like some other weird one. There was Heavy Metal.
That wasn't like a kid's cartoon,
Well, Heavy
though.
Metal was PG,
Can we
and
talk
I couldn't
about
even understand why that was. 'cause
Howard
that
the Duck?
was even Howard the Duck. That was
Look,
more
Tom and Jerry.
right.
Tom and
You
Jerry.
could
That's
have
a-
one. You could either have violence or you could have sex. You couldn't have any foul language, but it was either or, violence or sex. And nowadays, like you can't. Fuck. I mean, everything has to be subliminal, which is kind of worse.
No, today things. There's a lot of things.
Jared, go
that-
ahead, buddy.
First of all,
you
today
got the whole floor.
Today, some things have gotten, like the violence and stuff like that, has been lessened in a lot of cartoons. But there's other stuff that
Like as one went down, others went up. Right.
But one, I have the qualifications for what falls into what rating, like PG-13, as far as like language, nudity, substance, like drugs and stuff like that. And
Well, have at it.
But my question, right? You started this off with, so should we go to no intimacy period? Should we go back to 1920? Why are we having a conversation about what we should do based off of what they're doing over there? Why should we even have a consideration of regressing anything we've done based on what a foreign country is doing? Like, why is that even a debate? Like, why would we go backwards? Regardless.
I
I
agree.
don't know that,
Wait a minute.
I
Go
don't know
back
if
to
we
that
should
other
either.
the other
Oh,
comment.
you want to? Yeah,
Yeah.
you want to read? I'll read it to you. I think our time in the sandbox from Jade because of the shit we went through over there. But you kind of got to curb the language when you come home, brother. They're not all side eyeing us here. Yeah, Marco, you. Lost
I don't
your
think any of
target
it. I
audience.
don't think anybody sides eyes me, and if they do, I make it a point to, confront them, literally, in my life period.
I got you, Michael. I got you.
I don't know how many. What? Quit going so fucking fast. Back up.
You know he's
I don't
old. He
know.
can't read that fast.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I don't know if we should change. I'm just saying, not because other people want us to, just because even ourselves, even our own country, like.
But our rating system is fine. What we need to do is we need to have, if you're one for youth, we need to have parents that pay attention
I agree.
and
with
parent
that.
their kids. Then two, I do it sometimes. Even shows that I like some crime dramas. Like I fucking love Blue Bloods.
Yeah,
Right,
but see,
love Blue
I wanna-
Bloods. But there's
I wanna
times There's times I come home and I'm like, it's been a stressful day, or there's a lot of shit going on, like in the personal life or something. And I'm like, I don't want anything to do with I don't want to see anybody else's drama. So since I know what it contains, even though I'm okay with it, I choose to watch Phineas and Ferb. Because
I'm
So-
going to tag in here.
but we have those tags that tell us what is going to be in this motion picture
Yeah,
or
but
in
not all.
this
That's what
show.
I'm trying to tag in. Believe it or not, I'm not one for censorship. I mean, look at what we do for a living.
What?
Marco, you just need to There's censorship and there's growing a following, and sometimes you put your foot in my mouth, and it makes me crazy. But what I will say is, even with TV now, right? Like they're talking about watching Blue Bloods, you're talking about watching Phineas and Ferb. It doesn't seem to matter what you're watching anymore. At some point, I'm always like, "Oh, hey, Lexi, you should not be in here." Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, at some point, they're all testing that line. They're all testing the boundary now, and it's like there is no real G
that's how
television
they're getting
anymore.
their ratings
I honestly,
now.
Right.
I still see plenty of G-rated cartoon stuff out there, and it's on. It's
See,
readily
I see the
available.
worst shit in the cartoons.
Especially now with all the options we have as far as streaming services, and they're doing their own original content. There's a ton of it out there. There really is.
I don't know, man, but there's a ton of it that just kind of crosses, like,
Sure.
even on
Yeah,
Disney,
I
stuff,
agree
like
with
where
that.
it's like, it'd be like a kid
anime.
show,
Yes,
and
there
then
is.
they tackle a topic that you're like, yo, that is not a topic for kids. Like, I don't want to have this discussion with my 8-year-old. Go
You know
ahead.
what?
Alexa.
You
your
might not
problem.
want to have that discussion with your 8-year-old, but those conversations are going on around your 8-year-old in school and out in public. And if you don't have those uncomfortable conversations, you will absolutely regret it. Yes, due to advancements, kids have gotten exposed to things way sooner than I think they should have. And you're not going to change that. You're not going to stop it. You can slow it, but you can't stop it. And you better be ahead of it. And you better be willing to have those uncomfortable conversations. And it's better to have them in front of your TV on your sofa in your living room than when you're picking them up in a fucking prison or a fucking police station.
I gotta agree with that.
Or you're sitting in the principal's office trying to find out what the fuck is going on.
Right.
That's
I agree.
that's totally reasonable.
Yeah.
I think I don't think the government should censor, any of this content, but I think our society has become a little too sexual, in my opinion. And I know from someone who's done porn and has an OnlyFans, that's weird to say, but I think a lot of times, our society, it's such decadence that it hasn't been seen since the fall of Rome. Like, if you look at people, they're turning to porn, they're turning to, these violent video games, they're turning to sex on TV, premarital sex out of wedlock. What happened to the nice TV shows? Because people emulate media. Like, we say they don't, but people do emulate media. It's like, what happened to having a family? A nuclear family in the household. That's all gone away. Now it's just like talk at that you can, and then just and people are going that the marriage rate's down, birth rate's down.
No, you're right. And look at what a lot of in the last 10 years sitcoms have done to dads and fathers. They're all dumb. They're all stupid.
Well, I mean,
they're all lazy.
All this is like this argument that Alexa's putting forth now, though, is an old argument. I think this argument that she just put forward, we should have had 10 years ago. And this is the result of not having this
They've
argument.
been having it since the Ed Sullivan Show. This conversation's
I mean,
been going on forever.
the more sexualization, the more, the more violence, the more
But
push
see-
and love. I think the reason why we're gotten to this point now is we already went past that. Nobody did dick. Nobody had them uncomfortable conversations like Jared said with their kids. So now that everybody's been bombarded with this bullshit, this is what we have left. We have this so-called woke culture that's butthurt constantly wants to censor shit, but wants to do whatever and be, have everybody okay with that. Go ahead, Joyce.
So the way I see it, and my voice is fucked. I'm sorry, but you're exactly right. What happened to those shows? The problem is that the people now that are putting out those shows that are really needing the money to come back are trying to walk the line. They're trying to walk the line between what everyone right now is wanting and craving. Like you said, we're going to porn, we're going to all these things that make us feel good. So they're trying to dabble in that a little bit, but still try and stay on the acceptable level. And so we've got shows that are now just
the
more
acceptable
and
has
more-
become the sliding scale now instead of the
it
shows.
has. And we've got shows now that are more and more trying to play up what people will actually watch. So the problem's not with the business, it's what we are watching and actually supporting as a people.
I want to for me, I want to take it back to kind of like the rating scale and the censorship. For me, I think the problem is you bring up the Ed Cinnamon Show, you bring up the Johnny Carson, you bring up the old days of TV, right? It used to be late night television. Like it used to be like
that was the
like,
edgier stuff.
What?
It was more like-
No, but let me
Watch
get
a
the full
Bob
thought out,
Barker
guys.
rerun.
No,
Oh, yeah,
let me get the
that's
full
true.
thought out because I want to have you guys with this point. It used to be late night TV. It used to be HBO. Like it used to have a platform that was specific for like this is for adults. This is adult time. Don't let your kids watch this block.
Right.
Now it's just
Whatever.
everywhere, and
Adult
I'm not
Swim.
for. I don't want the limits on people putting out that kind of content, but I wouldn't mind having the blocks back. I wouldn't mind having late night television. Like think about when radio came out and Sirius XM came out. Howard Stern had a show, and it was out in the airwaves, but it was the Howard Stern show. You know, if you clicked on it, it's not for kids.
Right.
Anyone
Right.
could click on this show. We're not giving disclaimers. What do you got, Jared? Let's go, Jared. Then Alexa.
Well,
please.
you kind of did hit on it with anybody can click on this show,
Yeah,
but
but
you know
you-
that constant having access to that media that you're talking about, you're romanticizing a time period that doesn't exist anymore because we have streaming anytime. So you're right, it's always accessible. It is. It is still up to us to filter what comes in and out of the house. You can put parental controls on. They do exist. You know, the biggest thing, honestly, is be present. And I don't mean just be in the house, because I've been guilty of it myself, especially when, you know, I've had in the past when I had some major responsibilities and I was in over my head, you know, I thought, okay, well, the kids aren't fighting, they're not fucking anything up right this second. They're okay. I'm going to go tend to this other shit. You know, it's not like I was sitting there doing dope, but I was not constantly over their shoulder, and I wasn't always checking. You know, and they do what kids do. They do what I would have done if I had the internet at that age. You know what I mean? You get curious, and the answer's at your
TikTok.
fingertips.
Whatever
Here's
happened to
something
You know what I
scrambled
mean?
porn?
missing,
So
though. Wait a second, Jared.
it still boils down to, it doesn't matter how accessible it is. It matters. It all boils down to personal responsibility.
No, it all boils down to dopamine and how to fucking.
Well, no, that's why people
sex
chase.
sells.
That's why people
Hugh
chase
Hefner
those things.
made that a multi-billion-dollar business.
That's exactly why people chase those
So
things.
you can't blame
It's-
any of these
No,
platforms.
let this man talk. He's been quiet for like 2 episodes. Go ahead, brother.
You know, you can't blame a platform for trying to up their fucking profit. Sex sells. Period.
Right,
They
that's
act
what I'm
on
saying.
dopamine,
Fuck yeah.
same way that every fast food and every fucking
Yep.
drug does.
And
period.
here's one thing everybody has escaped to or failed to realize. All them old school shows, all the Andy Griffith shows, all the Dukes of Hazzard shows, all them old school wholesome shows, so-called wholesome, were based in racism. So we lost the racism in the shows, and we gained sex and violence and foul language. I mean,
Maybe we
every
need
every
a
one of
scale.
them shows, every one of them shows.
You
has
also
some
have to look at who
depiction
owned those
of-
shows at that time.
It
Right.
doesn't matter. All the shows. I mean, if you go from Mama's Family to the Munsters to Andy Griffith, you know, they all had some kind of racial overtones to them. So we got rid of that, which was a good thing. You know, even though a lot of it, you know, especially like in the late 80s, early 90s, they took the racial overtones and made fun of them and parodied them instead of making them, you know, what that was about. And that's what helped our nation a lot, you know. But again, you know, if you look at all these so-called wholesome shows that we grew up on, there were some racist fucking ass shows. Even Sanford and Son. You ever watched a pilot to Sanford and Son?
It's great.
Oh, it's terrible, dude. There's elderly abuse. There's racism. There's just it. I can't believe that I grew up on that shit. I watched it again. I'm like, holy fuck! I used to watch this with my grandma.
You also have to think though those
Go ahead, Alex.
those topics weren't prevalent back then. You didn't have mass elderly abuse, and you always had racism.
Yeah, but I mean, the elderly abuse was just like one little example in the Sanford.
Well, I'm
and
just
Son.
saying.
I'm looking at more of, you know, there was massive racism in a lot of the shows, and then you know there was a point where they tried to deter from that, and they show, you know, they use these shows to kind of make light of it and, it worked for our generation. We knew that all this shit was bullshit, but then again, hey, it's funny to make fun of it. So, what you got, Alexa? You were over there with your hand up like an hour ago.
So, yeah, I completely agree with you. I mean, that's why the left kind of is always going on about representation, because people kind of see things in the media and it eventually gets into the culture and shapes the culture. And I mean, you're right, you can't control what kids watch these days. I mean, they're like they just do makeup tutorials on YouTube. And you go to those girls' Instagrams, they dress like whores.
Yes.
Like, and now I do drunk prevention programs in the schools. Like, middle school girls now are literally dressed how I'm dressed, which is utterly ridiculous. But that's why I think kind of media should change a little bit, because our culture is getting to the point now because people emulate what they see in the media, and it is, twerking, just like at the club, and that's the life, and there was a study, and I'll kind of end on this, that the whole sexual revolution actually hurt a lot of women, especially millennial and Gen Z.
Absolutely.
I think it goes back to what Ryan and Jared said, and it's the parenting. I
want to give us a topic here at the end to I've just been kind of listening and chewing over here, and back to the Eternals, right? Like, this is getting pushed off of countries because it's got some gay representation. That's what's going on here, and it's something that has been, we've wanted a gay superhero for a while now. Like that's been something that's being pushed for, and I'm glad it happened, but at the same time, like, maybe we need a new rating scale, right? Like, maybe if that's what we're gonna do and we're gonna give the representation that should be there, then maybe there needs to be like a flag, like an LGBTQ, a pride flag on the scale somewhere. Hey,
let me just put a star on your. Let me just stitch a star on your chest.
Yeah, I'm gonna mute you right there, Ryan, because
Thank you, Dino.
You're about to get canceled, buddy. Like, listen, Marco hasn't said anything as bad
near
as
as offensive as
so
that.
Let's just calm down,
right,
and pick your words a little better.
And if you look
buddy?
on YouTube, if you look on Tubi, or not YouTube, if you look on Tubi, if you look on Netflix, if you look on Hulu, and a few other of them, they actually do have it. They'll have a section with LGBT, or they'll say alternative lifestyle, or they'll say black cinema, stuff like that. Which again is segregation and all that too. I don't think that's right, but you just kind of took it to a little bit further.
It's like, what I'm saying is like, I don't know, man. Maybe this is terrible, and maybe
what
I'm
you
being a
just
bad
said
person,
was
but,
gays
like,
get out. That's exactly what you just said.
No, it's not exactly what I said. I want the representation, but I want to be able to know, like, hey, you know what? Let's not let 3-year-old Timmy watch this, because
And
now we
watch
got
it
to have
first.
conversations that 3-year-old Timmy's not ready
then
for,
watch it
right?
first.
Like,
How's 3-year-old Timmy not ready for a conversation? I mean, like, it's not like
How's
you're watching.
20-something-year-old
Listen. It's
Ryan
not like you.
not
It's not
gonna
like
talk
you're
to his
watching.
kid?
It's not like you're watching gay porn with your 3-year-old. There is zero wrong with a 3-year-old seeing, a same-sex couple, or seeing especially if it's portrayed in an age or maturity appropriate setting. They can see two men interacting as this one child's father, and if they have a question, that's when you as a parent need to explain, even if you don't agree with it. One thing I was grateful for looking back now growing up is my parents didn't really go by the rating of a movie. You know what I mean? We were allowed to watch pretty much whatever we asked to watch. If it was something heavy, it was usually my dad, but one of my parents would watch it with us. So when we came across those scenes and we came across that subject matter, there was an adult right there to talk to us about. And I didn't even have to always ask a question, because they understood that kids are going to be uncomfortable. You know what I mean? Like, I was young the first time I watched Full Metal Jacket. Gruesome movie, and all kinds of subject matter. And my dad,
and the same thing
elementary school, my dad explained everything to me. I got my questions answered. You know what I mean? And I understood things. I learned. I gained, understanding. I gained, knowledge. But I didn't find it on my own. It wasn't. But I didn't find it on my own. It wasn't glorified in some perverse way, and it wasn't it's just. that's the uncomfortable part of parenting. And I truly believe that the vast majority of the problems we're seeing now are because for the last 10 to 20 years, parenting has fucking sucked.
Yes.
30
yes.
years? Maybe 40?
30, maybe 40.
I think, I mean, yes, definitely there were. I think it's gotten worse.
All the
Well,
kids
I think
really
it's-
hate it.
right? Like,
Technology
put their
has
bullshit
also
on
made
their
it more
kids and it got
difficult for
worse.
parents, and parents have to be more involved, and it takes more time, more energy, and more effort to be involved in your kid's life now than it did when we were kids.
But you
And I don't know
have-
everybody's age up here, but I'm, mid-40s. So, like,
so
my
Yeah,
parents...
Ryan's
Freddie's got a
56.
comment.
Don't worry.
Yeah.
So the point is this, but that takes it back is our involvement in our
Stop it, Michael,
families
stop
or the
it.
people around us, what they consume, right, is a form of censorship in and of itself.
Correct.
Right? I remember watching the movie Time Cop for the first time, very young, and there was a parent there, and there was a certain scene. If everyone's watched Time Cop, you'll know what scene it is because
They have
full
masks.
bush, and the person whose house we were at, the mom was like, I don't think we should be watching this, and everyone was like, what was that? Because we were at a very young age.
You guys
So
watch shitty
realistically,
movies. We had
it's-
that same scene in Roadhouse.
yeah.
Remember when the
absolutely.
chick was pushed up against the wall? Now it was all in dark silhouette, but in dark silhouette you saw that bird's nest between her legs.
And that's the thing is that's having that conversation and that understanding where it's nothing to be like, look, the difference between fear and hate is knowledge and understanding,
Correct.
right?
Yep,
it's,
I agree.
it's that
I
simple,
agree.
right? So having that conversation, while it's a pain in the ass,
And that right there will determine a lot of
Metaphorically.
hate too. Because if you get a parent that talks to their child and says, "Okay, there are some people who do, there's some guys who like guys and they make decent parents, and then women like women they make decent." If they talk to their kids like that, that's fine. That's the way I talk to my children. But then you got some of these idiots out here who don't know or who have been informed or even misparented, who say, "Oh, well, them too, they're fags. You ain't supposed to be like that." Well, then. Now we got hate. That kid thinks that that's wrong. He doesn't know that,
Sure.
why it's wrong. But my dad said that they're fucking nasty, so now they're nasty. And that's where we get a lot of this hate and this ignorance in the country.
Jared, what do you got, buddy?
Back to the parenting. It's really this simple. Like, I was probably 5, maybe 6. We were on a road trip. We stopped at a gas station. We went into the bathroom, and there
You
was a
didn't
machine
look
on
in
the
the
wall.
glory hole, did you?
And I looked at my dad and I said, "What's that?" And he goes, "It's a condom machine." And I said, "What's a condom machine?" And he goes, "It's a machine that sells condoms." And I went, "Okay." Never asked what a condom was. Never asked what it was for, because at that age I didn't care.
You didn't know.
It's not that hard.
And it's just.
You just got to listen to
I think-
them,
I
but you
think what
got to
makes
be
me
involved.
uncomfortable is it's
My
forcing-
biggest
it's
regret,
forced-
my biggest
I
regret,
don't-
the difference between my girls and my boys, we have 5 kids total, is the amount of time that was actually spent like really with them and knowing what they did and what they were into. Unfortunately with the boys, life changed and both of us were working full time or out of the house, and I see a huge difference in their, emotional levels. I see a huge difference in the things where they got into things way over their head before they should have, that my girls didn't have. And again, we're here at parental involvement. It's not censorship. It's not the government's job. It is our personal job. It's our job we censor things in our own lives, from the music we listen to, to the movies we watch, the things we read. We practice censorship in our own lives. That's where the big breakdown is.
And I can't tell you how many times my 15-year-old comes in and goes, Mom, you gotta see this. It shows me some TikTok video that is,
TikTok's the devil. That's what that is.
if it was a 40-year-old man showing it to me, I'd laugh my ass off. My
Yeah, but a
15-year-old,
5-year-old,
I'm like,
Yeah, Yeah. My
This
daughter
is not
showed me
funny. I'm
some
not your
videos
friend.
that,
What
Dad,
are
I
you
thought
showing
you'd like
me?
this, or this would be funny.
This is not-
Yeah, I think it's funny because I'm 44. You're fucking 16,
This is
17
not
years old.
funny.
You shouldn't even be looking at this shit.
TikTok's the devil.
Well, see,
I
and
agree.
Yeah,
And
you're
that's why-
15. I don't
again,
want
I
to hear
don't
your
know-
jokes
I
about
don't
eating
know.
ass.
Right.
Yes.
I don't know.
Yes.
I don't know how helpful any of this would be for the future that we're going to, because that's happening. My daughter doesn't even have those apps, and she still sees the stuff before I do half the time.
Yeah, it even happened.
Because
What was
all
what
the
was
kids in
game
school
she
do it.
plays?
But
that
what I'm
Minecraft and
saying,
she had
what
that
I'm
asshole
saying is,
filling her head with shit.
man, oh man.
Go ahead.
what I'm saying is, you know, we're reaching a point now where we got to understand that, like, these conversations are having younger and younger when they're not ready for it. And it's like, yeah, you know, guys can like guys, girls can like girls, guys, you can have those simple talks, but it's getting to the point now where it's like, now you're in a movie theater and it's, you got to have a deeper talk with it with someone that's not ready,
And
because
you know what?
they're portraying something that you did not expect when you went to that movie.
I'll be fast.
And I don't know. So, the same thing with the radio and with everything else. It's like the TikTok things you're talking about. Now you got to have a talk, and you're like, okay, well, I guess we're going to talk about this now. And shit, why the hell are you watching this on TikTok?
When
Go ahead.
I stayed at home with my girls, I was able to have those conversations, no problems. I have to admit, and this might be a fault of mine, but after I've worked 10 hours and I'm fucking exhausted, and here's your goddamn dinner, just fucking eat it. You want to have this conversation with me? And I'm like, can we talk about it later? Can we just do this later?
Yeah,
And then
I'd
later
have blown
never
off a few
happens.
conversations because
Like,
of that shit.
I'm guilty of that shit. And then I realized, like, a week later, I'm like, oh, I didn't ever. And then it's like, do I really want to bring up pegging with my 12-year-old? I don't know. I mean, I don't want to. It's been a week. Maybe they forgot.
No, they looked it up.
No, yeah,
They
that's
looked it up
bad.
by now.
If
They
you don't
looked it
answer
up.
your
Google
right
it.
there, then
Dictionary.
Google becomes
Urban
the answer.
Dictionary, and they found out with
Yeah.
pictures and everything.
Right. And it's like, so there
Part
is
of their
a
algorithm.
problem there where it's not just parents not giving a fuck. It's, we're fucking tired right now. And
Yeah.
these are real life issues that we do care about. But at some point, sleep wins. Like,
Alexa, what do you got?
Well, first of all, Ryan, I don't know if I should thank you or Zeke Kyle at this point.
Right?
Yeah, you were the most
Ryan is
racist
going back to
tonight.
his German roots very strongly.
Mine pure is acceptable.
You're just like, I don't know if I want to have those conversations with my daughter. But there's certain
But someone else
types of
will.
people that exist. Like, I see them, and like, I know they're engaged in degeneracy. So I'm just like, can we get them to leave? Like, send them to an island or something, or some camp where they can concentrate on what they've done wrong. But no.
Proverbially called
You
camp of
brought this all on
concentration.
yourself,
obviously.
Ryan.
There's a happy medium, I think, because the left always, is on the defensive. They're like, oh, it's just, people are pushing back against. It's like, no, they push the envelope a little too far at times. In my
Agreed.
opinion, with LGBT people, this is all you need to say to kids. There are people that were born male that later identify as female. There are guys that like guys. There are girls that like girls. That's it. Most kids don't give a shit. It's like these are types of people. They exist. That's all you really need to say.
Right.
Now, the media pushes it too far and, wants to go, a little too far at times. But really, I think that'll go away with time as, like, this becomes more prevalent. So when these type of characters do exist, their entire plot in the given media isn't their identity.
right, everybody will calm the fuck down.
Right.
Just calm down. Right?
Mhm.
Like, they'll just.
Well, as long as we keep giving these extremists the platforms, though, I mean, then it's never going to stop calming down. I mean, we've had gay folks forever. We had people who lived their lives the way they wanted to forever. We made fun of them and took it light of them, but not in a hurtful, like derogatory way. Just to be like, all right. So this person's a different color, or this person's a different gender, or this person likes we'll make fun of that. But now we can't even do that anymore, and that's what's bringing up a lot of these issues. Nobody's making light of it. Everybody's getting this big gay dick shoved down their throat, or this big racial whatever shoved down their throat, and it's creating the problem. It's bringing back the hate. It's bringing back the segregation. It's bringing back everything that we worked so hard to get rid of. So, now that we make fun of something, or now that we make a joke, we get these butthurt folks that think it's racist or ignorant towards folks, and it's not.
See, even when they're... Jared, go ahead, and then I'll cap this bitch off.
No, and I agree a lot with what Alexis said there. I do think there's a lot of, one, I agree that there needs to be more representation of, I'm not always up on the best terminology, but to encompass everything, alternative lifestyles, whatever they are, whether it be, transgender, whether it be a homosexual relationship, whether it be, really anything. To make it normal is one thing. To make it part of when you're watching a show or a movie and you see it and it's just natural and it's part of it is one thing. But, I do agree that there's a lot of shoehorning that into places where it, to make a point, to they sensationalize it. I loved the show Schitt's Creek. Absolutely loved it. The interactions there with David and his husband by the end of the show were so natural. There was never anything that felt like it was forced, that it was, it was just so normal, so natural to watch. You watch other shows and you can see where, it's almost like they went, hey, we got this great show, but we have to find a way to make this character gay so that we can, whatever, so that we can be on the bandwagon, so that we can, and so it seems so like awkward, and then it is just forced, and to where it's not, it should be very natural if you're sitting there watching a properly rated show with your child to see a gay couple, that it shouldn't be any different than seeing a heterosexual couple. You know what I mean? Like, it should be that normal. It should be to where there's not a question. I agree with that. But, also, I have to agree with Marco on a lot of things. I think that the industry is shoehorning it to jump on this hashtag bandwagon, to get ratings, to get
Like,
this,
see, I've
to
seen
get
the
print,
trailers
to
for this
get...
movie. I was excited to go see this movie. To tag on to what Jared is saying here, I don't know how they're going to tie this into the plot. I feel like I would predict that this is just shoehorning and just an attempt to, test the waters and make money by making some of the characters gay. What does it have to do with immortal beings? You know what I'm saying? So it depends on how they did it, if it's tastefully or not. But
from the reviews that I've seen on it, it was done very, very late. I don't even understand why people are getting pissed about it, but they did put it, the gay character in as, a woke thing. And which sucks because, again, just like any other character that they switch up, there are gay superheroes. There are, they are these things. So why keep, again, stuffing them in our face? It doesn't make sense. Go ahead, Ryan.
Well, it's done for marketing. They want to see what the backlash is, so we can have one of those just straight on gay superheroes that we already have. They're like, oh, let's just sprinkle some in here and see what happens. And it's like, look, man, if it's just a gay superhero, I got no problem with it, right? If it's a gay kiss, I got no problem with it. When it gets deeper than that, I'm like, okay, are we gonna show are we gonna show the classic 80s movie sex scene where they get into the bed together and they start fooling around, and I don't think they're gonna do that at all. I don't think it's gonna happen. But I don't know.
If you're watching a program that scene, that if that scene happened between a heterosexual couple, they have the same rating. You know what I mean? Then
but I've had
it shouldn't. Then it shouldn't be a big deal that happens. I understand if you're shocked by you think you're watching. I understand. I understand being shocked if you think you're watching a G-rated, piece of media, and it turns out to be NC-17. Yeah, that would freak me out. But if the same intimate scene was done the exact same way between a homosexual couple and a heterosexual couple, and it was rating appropriate for what I was watching, it shouldn't It shouldn't matter.
I don't know. I guess that's
Shouldn't
what's
matter.
making me, because again, I've been watching shows, and they're teenage shows, right? They're rated 17 or 13 or 14 plus, and so something's gonna happen, right? But it's not gonna be full on, and then it's like, oh, okay, this is not something that I would like to have you watch with me right now.
Because you're uncomfortable.
I guess, yeah.
Do you know the uncomfortable conversation I had to have with my 13-year-old daughters when I took them to see Deadpool, and I had no clue,
Yeah, you knew what you were getting
about
on
that.
Deadpool.
Yeah.
You knew it was Deadpool. You knew what you were getting,
actually,
right?
no, because Deadpool, I didn't actually start looking at the comics or following it until I started seeing the trailers. He was not, now it's like my favorite shit. But back in the day, I was Wolverine and Venom. I barely knew anything about Deadpool. So I went into this movie as another Marvel fucking movie. When they started with that whole, all the holiday scenes, and I'm looking at three daughters, not two. My three, teenage daughters who were like 13, 12, and 11 or 10, whatever the fuck. And I had to be like, that was just a conversation I had to have. Uncomfortable as fuck, but it was. It was just something I stepped into. And that was kind of a gratuitous sex scene. But again, as a parent, I could have just let it slide and let whatever happen, let Google be the parent. Or I could be like, all right, look, this is just, I forget how I went around it. I'm sure it wasn't the best in the world. But it's just something I had to explain. But the fact that right now, from back then to now, even in that short period of time, that was in the movies, but that shit now is on regular TV. So, I mean, I don't know if there's a Spider-Man Does Dallas, but I didn't see a lot of parodies of the other ones. Simpsons, I've seen Family Guy.
I rented the wrong Cinderella once.
I actually taped the right Cinderella. That was
It would have
great
been
with the
funnier,
corn cobs.
Jared, if it was Cinderella Man. That would have been even funnier.
Well, I mean, to us...
In 92, though, you had to go to a special store to get that.
Hell yeah.
I should have known when it was spelled S-I-N instead of C-I-N, but I wasn't that good at grammar back then.
Hey, but it was great. It was fucking great. I think I still got the VHS at my mama's house.
Anyways, let's wrap
Betamax.
this up.
Yeah, listen, guys, this has been a lot of fun, actually. Thank you for joining us. Michael, Brian, Serge, Greg, everybody that was in the comments with us. You guys make the show. Square Table Degenerates, as always, we love having you here. We'd love to have you guys on as a guest. And thanks for chiming in. Yeah, no, this is about. It's kind of weird. We're going to go watch the movie now, so maybe we'll do a follow-up episode on this later. I'm really curious, what this scene is and why it's such a big deal. I don't think it's going to be a big deal at all. I feel like it's probably going to be...
We're probably going to, watch it and at the end of the movie be like, where the fuck's the scene?
Yeah, what happened?
Where's the big deal?
Yeah.
Well, from what I've seen so far and watching all the people who've done their they went and saw it and they talked about it. They showed a lot of scenes from it. They show this dude, it's Faustos, it's the black guy. Go figure. But he's married. And they show him one time outside with his husband and a little kid. And the little kid's talking about Superman. And then they show him in the house with his husband. They show some hand holding. They show some hugging. But there is no... This is a Disney movie, guys. Remember that. They don't show, hetero people going at it too much.
Not even in tongue kissing and
no, not tongue kissing like that.
Were they in leather gear while they were holding hands?
No, they were actually dressed kind of very, very white.
I want them both to be in full business suits, okay? Because it's important.
Pretty close. But you're gonna have people bitching that there's black folks in business suits.
Who's gonna bitch about that besides the fucking KKK? What the fuck?
Forever. Thank you for joining us. We'll touch back on this probably never.
Upside Down Studios. The rest of the show's at 9 o'clock. Well, we started at 9.
No, you're not plugging that today.
Yes,
Thanks
the
for
fuck
watching
we
this.
are,
Have a great-
motherfucker.
It's all marketing. The whole thing. Because how many people get this?
Give it somebody
We're gonna